Last week, I gave the conference to hundreds of accountants on how to use artificial intelligence inside of their job. The particularity of their job is that if they make a mistake, the company could go under because you can get sued, or your career could end abruptly because you use artificial intelligence in the wrong way. So today, we're going to see with my little trusted whiteboard some method, some little advice that I give them as a business owner and as a person which is the career to be an accountant on how to use artificial intelligence in a very smart manner to make sure that you can have the result that you want. So let's start with the board. One of the big problems that a lot of people have when they use artificial intelligence, specifically in a precise job as accountant, is that the AI right here, you're not gonna give them a question, so a prompt, which is the question. This is the thing that you give inside of the chatbot, and it's gonna give you a result. The biggest problem that we see in this result is that it seems to hit all the checklists, all the marks, all the things that seems to make it qualitative. It does it. That's one of the biggest problems that we have with artificial intelligence is that if you don't have a trained eyes, if you don't challenge artificial intelligence, the problem is that AI gonna make something that appear to be quality. And the problem is that if you base yourself on this, you're gonna have a lot of problem because even if it seems to be useful, when put in practice, when it's bring to the operation, the ops, you're gonna have a lot of problem. You're gonna have to justify yourself. Maybe the source are not good. Maybe you give an Excel, it didn't give the right information. It's terrible. So that's one of the first thing is that if you have, for example, an accountant firm, the biggest element to make sure that you train your guys on, your employees on, is to make sure to challenge artificial intelligence, to have a double-step process. What do I mean by double-step process? For example, you're gonna give an Excel on like all the spending, all the accounts that your customer gonna have. The operator, which is gonna be your employee, so this is the employee, this will be the AI, you can separate them like this. You tell him you can use artificial intelligence to detect problem, to detect anomalies, but you cannot trust it 100%. So what you do is that you do a double step. You do a find me the problems. Once the AI say there is a problem here, there is a problem here, and the recommendation that I give is this and this in terms of strategy, this is pretty good. Then you say, okay, ask him in which file are those problem find. So then you find the files. And the idea of those files, then you give the operator the chance to go way faster in terms of finding anomalies, finding ideas, and also then you're way more precise in your analysis. So if I had to give a real advice on this is that, of course, you cannot trust AI, but it helps you when you combine it with the traditional method where you did it by hand, you check the information, you check if there is no problem with the multiple file. It helps you detect anomalies, for example, way faster, especially when you combine it with your method that already worked for like 20 years, let's imagine. But you could ask yourself, if I have to still do it by hand, do I really win sometime? And that's where AI is going to be very useful, is that you use it first to tell you, do you see any problem in the files? And then you can check by hand. Usually, to be honest, with all the content that we train, we usually cut 30 to 60% of the time of analysis is cut by just this process alone, by putting a double-step system. But we don't end here. There is way more that we can do with it. The next step is going to be to push deeper with AI. So I touched to it like really fast, but we're going to go deeper on this, is that even if AI give you the elements where you see, all right, there is a problem here, there is a problem there, then you can solve the problem. This is already value for you. But the next thing that you can do is that you can push deeper. So for example, once it's solved, once you can remake the analysis and you have something actually true, basically, you can push deeper. So the idea is that don't stop to one analysis, don't stop to one result that the AI is going to give you. You can push way deeper, and this is where the job of accountant, specifically in France, for example, there is the most value. In the sense of, you can make analysis, and what the analysis is true, you can push and say, all right, based on the information of my customer, which is going to be that, and that, my customer would like to optimize the stock, optimize the pricing, maybe optimize anything. what would you recommend? And this is why AI gonna shine, is because AI has been trained on like hundreds of thousands of data, specifically on your industry and mine and any others. And if you ask him, for example, based on these inputs, based on this analysis and the retrieval of the information of my customer based on his Excel's data that I give, what do you recommend? Little advice, pro tip if I dare say so myself, don't ask the AI to make the retrieval analysis, coherence analysis too, to make sure that everything is okay based on all the file, and then the recommendation. The AI is not capable of doing this. What I will tell you is that he will try, but he will not do a good job. Pro tip is to make sure that you segment the actions. As I said, you segment the retrieval and verification of the Excel, then you make a second analysis yourself. Then, once you have an analysis which is true, you can push later. This is a segmentation of effort. This is a little technique that I invented. Very important, very useful, because if you ask too many things at AI, it's going to try to do it, but the problem is that the result is going to be horrible, to be honest with you. It's going to have to divide the maximum effort that it can allocate for any answer. It's going to have to divide it on multiple tasks that you ask one time. So instead of dividing all the effort, all the juice of the AI on like 5 steps, we use the entirety of AI on one task at the time. So this is really what I would advise you. Make sure, again, AI, we are still at the beginning. AI evolved quite a lot in the last 2 years, 1 year even. I would advise you to make sure that you can combine AI with the traditional method that already proved itself. We already have employees that work on this specific topic and specific skills. So my really good advice would be that you combine AI with the traditional method. One of the other problems specifically for the business owners is that if you don't say you can use AI here, but you have to verify yourself, if you say no AI inside of my company, which we see in accountants, specifically in like law firm and all this, the problem is that the employee is going to say, no problem, I won't use AI, but they will. They will, and if you don't give them like an open door, like an open window, open door, if you don't give them a method, even if smaller than what they would have done alone, they would trick you. They will tell you, all right, no problem, I won't use it, but they kind of want to save some time and go on holiday, I'm sorry. So this is what they do. We're like proven time and time again after like training hundreds of companies on artificial intelligence, employee would say, no problem, I won't use AI, but they will. So what I would advise every time is that you make a SOP. So SOP is Standardized Operation Procedure, SOP, where you say, if you have to make this task, the analysis and coherence of, for example, like receive, invoice, and all that, you have to use AI in this specific matter, in a very secured matter, and then you verify yourself. This is basically like the best way to do it right now, because even if AI is quite precise, specifically when you have the great prompt, when you give like a very beautifully made, very well written prompt, AI is quite precise. It's still not 100%, and if you make an error, it's your company or your career that could take the really big hit. So yeah, it was Loïc from iAdvantage. I wish you the best. If you really want to train your company or your employee, your company and your employee is basically the same, or yourself, don't hesitate to join us on iAdvantage with a little, like, I don't know you call it in English, but that's okay, .com. I wish you the best. Check the description if you want more. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.